All right, deep divers, buckle up, because today's story is going to make you wonder about high finance and
Poetry slams.
you got poetry slams. It's wilder than you think.
It all began 30 years ago today, February 26, 1995. The financial world was in for a very rude awakening.
That's the day Nick Leeson, our star of the show, well, he decided to take a centuries-old bank down with him. We're talking Barings Bank, one of the oldest names in the game. How much did this financial whiz manage to lose? Over 800 million pounds.
It's crazy, right? That wasn't some big conspiracy or a system failure. This was one guy who brought down a financial giant.
So today's mission, should you choose to accept it, is to figure out how Leeson pulled off this financial magic trick. We're going to break down his rise and fall of the Kobe earthquake's role in this whole mess and get this, how it all ties into performance poetry.
You might be thinking, hold on, poetry. What do rhyming couplets have to do with losing millions? And that's a fair question, but the connections are more relevant to you than you might think.
Let's start with Nick Leeson, the man who made financial history for all the wrong reasons. This guy wasn't some back-office nobody. He was a rising star at Barings, known for his charisma, his gutsy trading, and, well, his ability to make some serious cash. Or so everyone thought.
The 90s were a bit of a wild west for investment banking. Deregulation was the name of the game, and there was this feeling of go big or go home.
And banks didn't exactly have the risk management systems they do now.
Exactly. So you've got a recipe for disaster.
And Leeson, our ambitious trader, was happy to oblige. He was racking up wins, earning praise, and everyone was patting him on the back. But here's the thing, not all those wins were real.
This is where it gets good. Instead of owning up to his mistakes, Leeson got creative. He created a secret account called it 88888 to hide his losses. It's like he thought no one would notice a pile of missing money with a sign saying, "Nothing to see here."
The audacity is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's like hiding an elephant in your living room and expecting your roommates not to notice. But for a while it worked. Leeson kept juggling the books, hiding the losses, and hoping for a miracle.
But you can't build a house of cards forever. The slightest breeze can knock it down. And for Leeson, that breeze was a natural disaster. The Kobe earthquake in January 1995.
Talk about bad timing. Leeson had bet big on the Japanese market, and the earthquake sent shockwaves through the financial world. It exposed everything.
It's amazing how something on the other side of the world can unravel things. The Kobe earthquake forced Barings to take a hard look at their books, and, well, let's just say they weren't happy.
When the dust settled, Barings Bank was in ruins, Leeson was on the run, and the financial world was reeling. He eventually got caught, of course, ending up in a German prison. Not exactly the high life he had in mind. But here's the real head-scratcher. What does any of this have to do with poetry slams?
That's the million-pound question, isn't it? And that's where we'll pick up next. Get ready for a surprising connection that might just change how you see your own work no matter what you do.
Okay, so we've got this rogue trader who took down a bank, ended up in prison, and somehow this is a lesson in poetry. I'm still lost.
Think of it this way. Leeson was on top for a while. Success recognition, the whole 9 yards. But he got complacent. He stopped pushing himself, stopped innovating, and that's what did him in.
So even a financial hotshot can learn from poets. I thought they were more worried about metaphors than money.
That's where the poetry master comes in. This book argues that the principles of performance poetry, captivating your audience, delivering a powerful message, always innovating, they're actually relevant to any field, even finance.
Wait, are you saying to avoid a Leeson-style meltdown, I need to start channeling my inner poet? Should I bring a rhyming dictionary to my next meeting?
Not exactly, but imagine you're presenting a new idea. You could just go on about the technical stuff, maybe a few bullet points. But what if you approached it like a poet? A compelling story, vivid language, really connecting with your audience.
Okay, I'm seeing what you mean. It's not just the information, it's how you deliver it, how you make it resonate.
Exactly. The poetry master talks about this, what's in it for me? And not for the presenter. It's about knowing what your audience wants, what their needs are, and then giving them a message that speaks to them.
So if I'm trying to convince my boss for a raise, I shouldn't just list why I deserve it. I need to show how it helps the company, how it helps them reach their goals.
Like climate change, something we all should care about.
Mm.
You could just throw stats and predictions at people, but that won't get them to act. It's been done before.
Yeah, even I tune out after a while when it's just doom and gloom.
But what if instead of data, we used storytelling like poets? What if we painted a picture of a future worth fighting for, where what we do today makes a difference? It becomes personal, relatable, a call to action.
So even something as complex as climate change can use a little poetry? Sign me up for that workshop.
The point is, whether you're a poet, a banker, or a climate activist, effective communication is the same. Understand your audience, craft a compelling narrative, and deliver it with passion and realness.
Okay, I'm convinced. But back to the Poetry Master. What are some takeaways our listeners can actually use? We're not all becoming slam poets overnight, right?
Of course not. But the book has great insights for anyone. One is stage presence.
Stage presence, like those TED Talk stars who own the room without breaking a sweat.
Exactly. It's more than just words. It's your body language, tone of voice, energy, how you connect non-verbally.
Now I'm thinking of all those presentations I gave glued to my notes, mumbling through slides. No wonder people left half asleep.
The Poetry Master talks about being real and vulnerable, letting go of being perfect and connecting genuinely with your audience.
That makes sense. When I think about speakers who really got to me, it wasn't always the slick presentations or fancy words. It's the ones who are real, who share their stories and passions authentically.
That's poetry. Raw, emotional connects with us deeply, and those same principles work for any communication.
So how can our listeners get that authentic presence, even if they're not on a stage with a microphone?
Try being present in everyday interactions. Really listen, make eye contact, engage genuinely.
Good point. We get so caught up in what we're going to say next that we forget to actually listen.
Another tip, practice speaking with intention. Think about your message and how to make it clear, concise, and impactful.
Sounds like the Poetry Master has a lot of advice to help anyone communicate better.
It does. And it ties back to Nick Leeson. Remember how he got trapped in all that deceit trying to keep up appearances?
Yeah, he was so focused on looking good, he forgot what matters. Integrity, honesty, building trust.
Exactly. And that's the poetry connection, full circle. The Poetry Master encourages us to be vulnerable, be authentic, and connect on a deeper level. Build trust not through lies, but through real connection.
Wow, we've gone from rogue traders to poetry slams to climate change and back again. My head's spinning.
And that's what these deep dives are all about, finding unexpected connections, challenging assumptions, and uncovering insights we can use in our own lives.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners today? How can they avoid becoming the next Nick Leeson?
That's a great question, and we'll dig into that more in our last part. We'll explore the tools you need to avoid complacency, achieve real success, and master your own game.
Sounds interesting. Can't wait. But for now, deep divers, think about what we've talked about. How can effective communication, storytelling, and authenticity work for you in your life and work? Okay, deep divers, we've gone from financial ruin to the art of poetry. But let's get practical. How can we use these lessons from the Poetry Master and Leeson's downfall in our own lives? What are the tools we need to not just survive, but thrive?
Well, think about it. Leeson was a master manipulator, charismatic, could talk his way out of anything, but he used those skills for deceit, not real connection.
So charm's not enough. I was hoping smooth talking could solve most problems.
Charm might get you in the door, but it's integrity and authenticity that keep you there, and that takes work. One crucial tool is a commitment to always be learning.
So we can't just coast on what we know. Even if we're at the top of our game, we still need to keep pushing.
Absolutely. The world's changing fast, and what got you here today might not be enough tomorrow. Think about it. You wouldn't run a marathon on the same training you did in high school, right?
Okay, that's a good point. I can barely run to the bus these days, but how do we know what to focus on? There's so much information out there.
That's where curiosity comes in. Be a sponge, soak up information from everywhere, and always ask questions. What's new in your field? What skills will be in demand 5 years from now, 10 years?
This reminds me of how Leeson got stuck in his own little world. So focused on his schemes, he missed the bigger picture.
Exactly. Don't get so focused on your tasks that you forget to see where the world's going. Read industry stuff, go to conferences, talk to people outside your bubble. It's about staying ahead of the curve, not just keeping up.
So lifelong learning check. What else do we need to avoid becoming the next Leeson?
Adaptability is key. Remember how the Kobe earthquake messed up all of Leeson's plans? Life's full of surprises. The ability to adapt to change is what separates those who thrive from those who just get by.
So it's not just having a plan A, it's having a plan B, C, even a plan Z.
It's about being okay with change, not afraid of it. Be willing to try new things. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure's just a step toward success if you learn from it.
This is making me realize how stuck I've been. Doing things the same way for so long, I've forgotten how to think differently.
Think of it like this. If you want to master your craft, you need to be a student of life. Be open to new experiences, new views, new ways of thinking.
Okay, lifelong learning, adaptability, got it. Anything else to add to our toolbox?
One more, and it's the most important for that. Self-awareness. Leeson's downfall was a lack of it. He was so caught up in ambition and greed, he lost sight of his values, his integrity, his responsibility.
So it's not just about being smart or skilled, it's about having a moral compass.
It's knowing your strengths and weaknesses, your values, what pushes your buttons. It's being honest with yourself about why you do things and how you affect others.
I've never really thought about it that way. It's easy to get caught up in success and forget to check in with ourselves, make sure we're still being true to who we are.
That's what the Poetry Master is all about. Authenticity. Embrace your unique voice, your perspective, your story. Be true to yourself on and off the stage.
That's powerful, and it's something we all need, whether we're giving a presentation, leading a team, or just talking to people.
So to sum it up, don't be a Nick Leeson. Be a lifelong learner, adaptable and self-aware, and most importantly, be authentically you. That's how you succeed in your career and your life.
Well said. Deep Divers, we've covered a lot today, from finance to the wisdom of poetry. Remember, it's not just about avoiding disaster. It's about striving for excellence, growing, and making a positive impact.
And if you're looking for a guide on this journey, check out Poetry Master, Poetcraft, and Seven Taken. You'd be surprised what you can learn from poetry no matter what you do.
Be creative, Step.